All right, so it's been a minute. You can see the machine's a little dusty. Still not powered up, but I just got this thing, the phase converter, all hooked up, conduit, ran up to the idler motor. It fires up and it doesn't catch fire. So I did something right. All right, so a lot has happened very quickly. Let's back up a little bit here. So I did get my phase converter up. I got my big kill switch fired up. I got it run to the transformer. All of that functions. All of that is piped in. There's the idler motor. Transformer's piped over to a flex cable temporarily to wing nuts. This is going to go to a plug socket combo that I'm going to do where this access panel was. It's going to look great and beautiful, and that way I can just unplug from the machine here. Machine doesn't have any dangling cables. I can just pull out the coolant tray and then pallet jack it out of the way, clean up, do whatever I need to, and then all of the cabling will stay here. Got it? That works. That works. That works. Power comes to the machine. Fire up the machine. Blinky lights happen here. Fans kick on over here. It's great. The ACC control panel, which is this guy right here. I get a couple status lights, but the PC number 1 doesn't boot. And then PC number 2 that's on the other side of the machine doesn't boot either. And that's where we're at right now. All right, so what I've been troubleshooting is I literally took the front of the ACC off, which has its own little EMCO proprietary motherboard in there, which is like the breakout board and all that stuff. This seems to get powered. That's kind of a dumb device. I'm not worried about that. I was worried about the motherboard, which is basically a PC motherboard back here. It actually is running Linux, I believe, off of the little CF card, the compact flash card. I did make a copy of that card because I do have CF card readers. Power supply works. I've pulled this. I've tested it. And I can jumper this board and boot the board. It'll beep and spin and all the things. And I haven't plugged in a monitor or keyboard yet to actually see what it does. But it does boot. It does things. When it's plugged in normally with power, nothing. There's no power getting, or there's no boot signal, I guess. And I think this is a weird EMCO thing where it's a handshake between this PC board and the embedded PC that we'll see on the other side, where that one will wake this one, I think, and tell this one to boot, and it's a whole back and forth thing. Power coming in, all of this stuff works. All of this seems to beep and light up and fans, no issues. It's here and the other PC. Around the back of the cabinet is the ACC, or the machine control. Around the front of the cabinet is the keyboard emulator, control panels, and the embedded Windows PC. You can see I actually took it out. Took a hot minute, but I disconnected it and took it out to just try to bench test it. And here's what I found. Here's my pile of parts. Here's what I found. I pulled the power supply. It works. Power supply is good. I'm going to assume the CD-ROM and the floppy drive are probably good. It takes a lot for those to die. The motherboard is nasty as hell with this brown dust. There's the old hard drive. It's a 40-pin hard drive, so I need to get an adapter. I thought I had one. I need to get an adapter to be able to back that up and hopefully swap to a solid state. But when I pulled the hard drive, here's what I found under here. Here's the fan power cable. Looks like it got some corrosion, and then essentially just it stripped the wire a little bit and then it just melted and fried itself. You can see where it was. It left a lovely little burn mark. Hopefully, yeah, the hard drive seems like it was unfazed. It's really just the bottom panel. You can see it was pinched here, and then it just fried itself. So those fans are probably shot, which, whatever. This guy, I can't get to boot. I can't get this motherboard to jump, which, now that I found this cable like this, makes sense. The good thing is I don't need this PC in this build as it is. I just need a PC running the handshake software stuff that's on this hard drive. And I believe that can be a Windows 8, 9, or a 98 all the way up to Windows 11 PC. It doesn't really matter because I think the software can run on it. So I may strip all this stuff out, not put a floppy in it. I don't need a floppy in a CD-ROM, but maybe more USBs. Definitely not putting another $300 embedded little Flex ATX board in here. That's a huge waste of money. If I could do it with a mini PC, that would be awesome, but I do need a COM port to some degree. Maybe I can do an adapter to some degree. Because on the machine, I need a COM, a LAN, a USB, and then the original keyboard and mouse was a PS2 style, but I've updated my keyboard and mouse to USB, so I need more USB ports. And right now the machine, for all intents and purposes, is wired. I just need to clean this stuff up, tuck it in, put the top lid on, screw it in. These three guys are done. I might do a little cable cleanup here, maybe some 3D printed, conduit clamps just to keep that stuff at bay. That's good. Ignore the orange wire. That's not part of this. This is good. I do have the receptacle side. I don't have the plug. I'm still waiting for the plug to come in to wire that into there. And then I'll make the little panel once I have all the pieces for that. This will be cleaned up, and then outside of the machine, I'm good. I'm hoping all of this is solved by the PC on the other side, the actual user side. If my ACC computer is good, and it seems to be, that's the expensive part. That's a couple $1,000s from EMCO. If it's the other PC, that's a couple $100. So fingers crossed that that's the way to go. If it turns out that this guy is shot, I either might try to repair it or just yank this out and that other PC out and stick a Linux driver board, like a Mesa board, in here. And then just go Linux CNC instead of EMCO stuff. Because luckily they did label a lot of their stuff really well. So it's pretty easy to kind of backtrack to all their big connectors and plugs and stuff. Yeah, but I'm super excited. I got it powered. No magic smoke. Super happy about all that stuff. And then I'm getting fans and beeps and noises over here. So that's a good sign. And then all the contactors and relays and stuff I'm seeing status lights. So nothing crazy down here, but obviously we won't know that until we get the control side up and running, which is probably going to be another couple weeks. All right, so here's just so you can see what's happening. I'm temporarily buttoned up in here. Just kind of put the ACC back in just to kind of show you that things do fire up. All right, phase converter. Now we got single phase to 3-phase. Power to the transformer. Transformer's humming. To the machine. Status lights and fans kicking on. It's a good day. Let's see here. Nope. ACC motherboard is still not fired up. Okay. The only other thing I'm trying right now, trying to trick it and see if it has a wake on LAN event, if that's the part of the handshake, right? So I got this mini PC that's just dangling here. If that's enough. I have no status over here. Yep, no fans or nothing in there going. No, I haven't had this status light on yet, unfortunately, so something's not triggering yet. And that's weird that Ethernet has it flashing, but there's nothing, I guess because there's no power here yet. Alright, little update here. I've been diving into this. The motherboard does appear to work. I can get that to boot. I don't have any VGA or adapters to get VGA to any of my monitors, so I can't actually see what it's booting to. I've made a copy of the CF card. I've taken this off and put it back on like 6,000 times. I've tried jumping it. That seems to work to some degree. It's just not booting right now for some reason. You can see I've kind of finished up my cabling here, ready for the plug to go in, which will go in here. I've got the little box. I've got the little new replacement access panel that I'm going to put in, that this will bolt into, and that the socket and the cover plate will bolt into. And then I'm still waiting on the actual plug bit to finish this part up. That's why I haven't put this in yet, but we're getting there. And then over here, I did find out that the PC in here, the motherboard is dead. I couldn't get it to boot at all. The hard drive, I did get an adapter, was able to make a copy of it. And then I reached out to EMCO actually, and they sent me the Win NC21 for the Fanuc. I got it installed on this mini PC, which I think is going to be the replacement for this one. Just trying to find an IP address because it's looking for the other computer board. It's a whole mess. But I found out I don't need the actual COM port. I don't actually need this COM port that I thought I did, because that just goes to that. So it's kind of unused until you need it, kind of thing. Eventually I have to figure out power and video. Right now this is that touchscreen monitor I had in, I think, my first or second video. Again, I don't have a video adapter to use this video board to this LCD yet. I got to figure that part out, or replace this monitor down the road. But I did have this with the WinNC31 for the Fanuc 31 yesterday, and the keyboard emulated buttons and controls was working in that demo mode. So I know that this stuff works, all the buttons and bits and pieces, because I was able to toggle between the things and simulate some things. I've got this actually configured with my configuration files, my license from the previous computer, because I was able to copy the hard drive. I just can't get the ACC motherboard to boot. Status is, I think it's the ACC that is bad, question mark, but I mean, it should be fixable, replaceable. In theory, I could probably swap that whole motherboard out there, right? I think. Because this is just a pass-through panel. It's, the problem may be this IDE cable, or this the problem may be this PCI card that talks to the ACC breakout board. So I've been seeing quotes from people saying from EMCO this could be $2,000 to $3,000 for a new ACC unit. If that's the case, then this is coming out in Linux CNC Mesa board. Something's going in. If this is not fixable, but it's all the parts seem to be working, except I can't really test that PCI board, I guess, without putting it in another computer. So maybe that's the next step, is swapping this motherboard with something more modern, trying to boot it from what's on this flash drive and seeing if that works. So here's the access panel, right? So I made it, cut it to the same square shape as the original one that was in there. Traced out the size that I needed for the square hole. I actually stuck this on my laser cutter to get it a rough size, and then jigsawed and drilled to put my plug in there, or to put the socket in there. So that'll bolt in there like so. And then this will actually go on the inside and then get screwed in, and then the box will bolt onto the back to cover all this whole bit, and it'll be great. So then on the side you'll just see the little black panel with that guy. This material was this aluminum clad plastic board. I'm sure it has a better name. I guess it's used for signage a lot. So I cut it and then just sprayed it with some rhino liner, some bed liner that I had, just to keep it from getting too beat up. I mean, for what it is, it's an access panel. In theory, I could have cut, I think, the stock one. Right, there's the stock one. But this is pretty heavy duty steel, so I didn't want to waste my time cutting up steel. But I'll hold on to that access panel just in case. But still waiting on the plug itself. Now that I have the socket, can wire this up, but I don't want to wire this up just yet because then I won't be able to power the machine for testing purposes. But that'll be pretty nice. All right, so I got the access panel mounted with the box in there. I've just wire nutted this back up temporarily, but it's bolted in, nice and solid there. And then the little box in there with the cable coming out. I just put a little bit of cable wrap that I had on there just to clean that guy up. There's a little bit of raw max that I had, so I just kind of clean that up to there, make it look nice and tidy. So it'll be ready for the outlet once the socket gets here, and then I can plug that up and not have to worry about it. So there's the plug, or the socket, I guess. So that'll look real nice in there. And then machine plugged in, and then I can unplug it at will. And then if I need to move the machine, just unplug, nothing dangling off of it. The other things I still need to figure out is my air line is on this side of the machine. So I'm probably gonna have to plumb something up somewhere. I've got 2 small compressors, so I think I need a new compressor or another compressor. I'm toying with the idea of housing it in here, if I can get one that fits, and then just put a drain, maybe a drain even to the coolant. I don't know. Once the machine's running, then I'll deal with the airlines one step at a time. So I scrounged. I found a monitor that has a VGA port. Plugged the keyboard in the VGA. I took the ACC off just to plug into the board to see what happens. I plugged the CF card in. I hit F1 on this to continue. Looks like it's installing Linux. USB 6 channel. Okay, so that did some positive things. Let me see if I can boot the other computer and see what happens. Okay, so I'm booting up this mini PC with the WinNC installed. Let's see. Let me see. It's supposed to auto start this program. There it is. IP address being configured. Let's see what happens over here now. Listening. Starting, setting half 2+. Nothing's not responding, so I'm just gonna shut this down, stick the ACC back on, and try it again. See what happens. Alright, booting it up again. No boot there. Okay.